break it all down. The Vault Studio, the best show in town. Show in town, best show in town, best show in town. Lights on, mic check, game time, let's go. Jay George, Scotty running the show. Rock on the mix, keeping it tight. NFL talk every day, every night.
Hello, everybody, and welcome to the Vault Studios NFL podcast. I'm your host, J.A. I'm joined by the great Greek Zorba, Georgie boy.
Hey, I've been called this.
How are you, mate? And I'm joined also by the human billboard, Scotty over there.
That's good.
And, of course, we've got Brocky on the ones and twos, as
amazing.
usual.
That's very niche. I love
Yeah, if people weren't in the room for us
No,
before,
they
they
weren't in
wouldn't
the
get it,
room,
but Scotty is a billboard.
That's very funny. Thank you, James.
Bit of a we thought we'd had an interview this week. Shout out to Laurie. He had some illness. His youngest had a bit of sickness, COVID actually. So he did let me know. So hopefully get that in for next week.
That's still a thing.
Yeah, well, it's definitely still an illness. You just don't have the same ramifications when you get
Do you
it.
get 2 weeks off?
I don't
Do we
believe
discuss
so.
this on another podcast?
I don't
maybe?
believe you get a payment for it either anymore.
Can we get $450 for getting tested? That's what I really need to know
No,
right
you
now.
can't. Otherwise, I'd be getting tested every day.
Same.
So we'll have him next week. So we've put together a bit of a show. There is literally no news. Nothing has happened in the past week. We got a bit of a cluster of news last week, which was good, but mandatory OTAs have pretty much ended. I think the Rams are still going for
Yeah,
another
in
day.
Hawaii or something.
Yeah.
I think.
All the other teams they've broken for
They're
summer
broken
break
up.
now.
So you're going to get into this is we are now entering the low point of the NFL season. That's just the
No, this is the best part
it is
for
now.
us.
Now this is the time where we can. This is where if you've got a team, all your hopes and dreams can come to life because there's nothing telling you they're going to suck.
Yeah.
So if you're a Saints fan,
like you with your Cowboys.
exactly, I've got nothing but hope. You know, I can just sit back and enjoy.
Maybe Dak will win a playoff game. This year.
Maybe.
I mean,
Who would know?
The rundown for the OTAs is basically player X is back healthy 100%. He's
looking good.
he's
looking
looking
better
good.
than ever.
He's put on 20 pounds of muscle.
He's
And-
training the
he's
house down.
stronger.
Yeah.
He's stronger than ever, and he's now somehow faster than ever.
Except Debo.
player-
Did you see that? See the video of Debo running around? Fucking hell, he looked bad.
He doesn't look any fitter.
He looks fatter.
Yeah.
How does he manage that?
Just on that, do we think I'm going to give you a scale like 1 to 10 how successful Debo is going to be this year. 10 being like Pro Bowler, All Pro,
2022.
1 being like he's just irrelevant to the team. Where do you honestly think he sits for Washington this year?
Like a 4.
Yeah, I was going to say 4 too.
I was just say 5. Just like he's just going to be a guy.
Well, our topic coming up tonight, he's on my list of people.
Okay, that's good. Well, let's lead into the topic. So I want to shout out to Pro Football Focus, one of the best websites in
Yep,
football. It's
really good.
unbelievable. They released 10 players with the most approved this week, and I thought it was a bit interesting. Some of them I didn't agree with, but what we're going to do is we're going to go through their list and talk about the guys they had, and then we've got a few of our own to add to it. There are a lot of players that have a lot to prove every year. There's a few this year that have a ton. I think they missed some, but I
think some people in this list are unfairly.
I agree too, and we'll get to some of
Yeah.
them.
We'll get to him. Yeah, absolutely.
So let's start with the first one they had on their list. Number 1 on there, or in fairness, there's no numerical order. They're just 10 guys. There's no like order of them.
Yeah, there's no rank. Yeah.
Yeah.
But the most approved they had, first one was Caleb Williams for them. And
Stiff.
it's stiff in terms that it's only his second year in the NFL,
Yeah.
which is fair. I think what the way I'm taking it is that he is going to have a lot more protection with his offensive line. I think we all think with Tooney and Jonah Jackson and Dahlman, they've added 3 really good interior guys. Playing right tackle, former top 10 pick. He's going to develop.
Expect him to, yeah.
And then Jones, who's been a good left tackle without being amazing.
Yep.
They're going to have a bit more protection. And then the receiving group he's got around him with Adonze and more.
And the coach,
And
Ben Johnson.
then Ben Johnson, who's I've probably buried the lead there. With Ben Johnson, he really doesn't have any excuses now.
Well, of course he does. He's a
He's still a
second-year pro.
player.
I mean, how can you have something to prove when you're just granted he's a first overall pick, but
There was
You
a lot of hype
expect-
coming out for him coming out of college, though. That's the thing. There was a lot of hype. I
He
mean,
was-
he had a good rookie season.
Also, last year, he's like the 3rd most passing yards in the history of the Chicago Bears.
Yeah.
So in terms of successive quarterbacks Chicago Bears have ever had, he's already
Mount
close
Rushmore.
to. He's already close to the history.
he's on the Mount
books.
Rushmore of
It's like
quarterbacks already.
Jim McMahon because he won a Super Bowl with a dominant defense. Caleb Williams.
Headband.
It's a headband.
and
Jay Cutler.
and Jay Cutler because he was a shitload of fun.
Yeah.
Still blows my mind that Jay Cutler, who was a yardage merchant,
Yeah.
didn't get 4,000 yards in Chicago. If he can't get
Yeah.
4,000 yards out, I don't know if anyone
It's how
can.
bad they
Cold.
suck.
Cold weather.
Cold weather. It does get cold there. They
I
need
think,
a bit of dome.
in terms of, I don't know about most to prove, but what he definitely has to prove is that, okay, like now there's no more excuses. He's got all the pieces there. He's got the weapons. He's got the O-line. He's got the coach. There's no excuses now. Now you have to be a franchise quarterback.
But we've
Yeah,
That's
seen
what he's got to prove.
second year, like it's hard to be very like elite in your first 2 years in the NFL.
Well, second year, a lot
Regardless
of
of
people say
position.
is your hardest year.
Yeah,
Like,
second
I reckon
year.
if you ask CJ Stroud, he's feeling
Well, that's
pretty
what I was-
confident
second year
that
blues
his
for
second
sure.
year is tough because people get some film on you.
Yep.
They get some film on your offense you're running. I just I think they're
It's a bit stiff.
I think they're just
Borderline stiff.
I think he's a year away from a crucial year.
I also can't see him sucking this year either. Like from what we saw last year with, again, third most sacks in the history of the NFL. Like that, people like belittle that. It's a massive factor in his rookie season.
Mm.
The third
Physically and
most
mentally.
sacks ever. Being hit that, and that doesn't even account for all the times he would get out of the pocket and make guys miss. And just because you get like you're giving up that many sacks, the pressure rate was through the roof.
Mm.
It's almost impossible to play quarterback successfully when you are getting sacked that often.
The reason why he's not going to suck this year is because last year he showed enough
Yeah.
with Matt fucking Eberflus as his guy.
Ebo.
Right?
Old Ebo
So-
for 5 games.
So yeah, and as we've said, they've upgraded the roster, upgraded the coaching staff. Like he will not suck. You can just rubber stamp that he's going to be good.
Yeah.
The biggest trouble he has as well, which is unfair for him, it's the reality of the situation he's in, is that he's in the toughest division in
Yeah.
football.
Yeah.
If they're in 3 other divisions, they're probably the best or second best team. Like
Yep.
if they're in the NFC South, we're probably picking them to win the division.
No, they'd win the division
It's
easily.
just because they're in the North and they've got to play Green Bay, Detroit, and the Vikings.
And the Vikings, yeah.
It makes it incredibly challenging for them.
Yep.
For him and the team. Like they could be a much better team this year and still finish 4th in their division.
Yeah,
realistically.
That's a pretty fair statement.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's pretty fair.
So, all right, next one, and this one I think is incredibly fair. It's Trevor Lawrence out at
I think
Jacksonville.
he's the number one most. to
I think
prove.
he has a ton to prove. I also think he's proven in the past he can be a good quarterback. I think last year, his first year and last year were his 2 worst years.
Mm.
And you can correlate that back to bad coaching. Coach
Mm.
got fired. Things just didn't work. Like Brian Thomas Jr. worked, but Christian Kirk didn't work. Where the year before he was really good for
Yeah.
him. Who's the tight end that ended up going somewhere else?
Evan Ingram.
Evan Ingram.
Yeah.
Yeah.
He just wasn't as impactful last season for him.
Decent.
He was fine, but not the same impact as he was that year before when they
Yeah.
were quite good.
The caveat to that though is when you're the franchise QB and you're getting paid
And he's been
$50+
paid.
million a year,
Yeah.
you gotta fucking make it happen.
Yes, he has to do something.
You gotta make it.
It's
happen.
hard to drag a whole NFL team because the defense wasn't great either. They got very good players, but as a system and as a franchise, it was just there was something going on there. I agree. He's in a very crucial year, but I'll put money on him bouncing.
I think so too. I think if I was a betting man,
Mm.
gun to my head, he's going to have a good year or a crap year. I'd be good year.
Yeah.
I just think he's too talented not
He's
to.
got talent. There's no doubt
We've
about
seen
it.
too much of his talent to just write him off and say he's going to be no
Yeah.
good.
Yeah, that's right. He's definitely not going to be a bust.
And people that rag on the Jaguars and go, well, why did they sign him? Quarterbacks are so hard to find
Mm.
that when you have one, you have to keep them.
No, you got to pay.
Now, maybe the 55 million was a bit too much, but at that point, after the season he'd had, which was a good season,
they won the playoff
they
game. that
won a
year.
playoff
Yeah.
game. He'd shown enough to be like, all right, well, this
But
guy's
he's
the
on the
man
up,
here.
Yeah.
And if you have like a Brock Purdy, like same with he got paid, when you have a guy that is your franchise quarterback and you view him as that is the market rate for what you are paying him. It is simple as that. You can complain about it all you want, or they earn too much, it's ridiculous. It is
That's
the market rate
that's
of
a
the
separate
NFL.
conversation,
There would have been 15 teams lining up to pay him the exact same money.
especially after that
15
season he had.
15.
Well,
There'd
there's
be-
probably 15.
There'd
good
be
quarterbacks.
23.
Yeah, maybe there would be teams that would be like, we'll go away from our franchise quarterback
Yeah.
and bring you in.
Mm.
Yeah.
Simple as that. So I think that he does have a lot to prove. I think he does.
I don't-
It's his time now.
I don't think the criticisms on him are his talent or ability.
No, that's fair.
I think the criticisms are outside of that, and it's more of a franchise thing. So then I feel like he's the face of the franchise, so he gets an unfair amount of
That's
criticism
pretty
for
standard
that.
for most QBs.
And-
They
and-
probably get an unfair amount of blame, and they
Yeah.
get an unfair amount of credit too. Really,
And,
let's be
and
honest.
and Liam Cohen's copped a lot of crap for his Duval, which was cringe as hell. But
He's a very
he's
good coach.
he's had some
Too
great.
hard.
That's brilliant.
That was perfect. He's had a lot
He's
of
on fire
he's had a
early.
lot
I
of
like
success
it.
in the NFL. It's because he had one of those hand grenades earlier.
Yeah, true.
Hand grenades make men.
Hairs
But
on
look,
your chest.
he's. I got a question for this is more a Jags side of thing. Can we think the Jags can win the division?
Yes, I you look at their roster and absolutely.
Yeah.
I don't think it's that unrealistic.
Yeah.
Like they're competing with the Texans and the Colts, probably.
Yeah.
Colts to a lesser extent.
Well, Daniel
with
Jones is
the-
going to be starting for the Colts, so take that
Uh-huh.
with a grain of salt.
And
Okay.
I think the Colts are like in that bubble of could be an absolute blow it up midway through the season, fire the coach, move on, which is
I don't think they will. I think they're going to ride Jones out for a year, suck, maybe
then-
get a top 5 pick, and go again.
I guarantee you that if they suck this year, Ballard's gone, Steichen's gone, and they're
Especially when they've got
yeah,
Israel's daughter now as
Yeah.
the owner.
And she's really hard nosed as well.
and they're
yeah.
rebooting with a new GM, a new coach, and starting fresh. There's
Yeah.
not many coaches that survive the new quarterback regime.
No,
Yeah, that's fair.
Like the Bears, are the prime example. Like everyone says, Matt Eberflus shouldn't have survived for the Caleb Williams year. Now maybe it pays off for him because then it allowed Ben Johnson to free up. Like it might
it
work
will
out
definitely
for
pay
them.
off because he's a much better coach.
Yeah, I think so too. But like, there are not many coaches survive the second era of the quarterback,
No, you don't
especially if
get
they're
two shots
offensive
at it.
guys.
Clean
Yeah.
house.
It's like we're going to start
completely, yeah.
again. Who's the fresh quarterback on the list? We've got Lawrence. Let's get a guy.
If you're the Jags in the building, they will be thinking this division is ours to lose. That's what they should be thinking.
I feel the same. Yeah, I feel
They've
like
got
that's
enough talent. They've
And
got their
internally.
guy. Yeah, internally they'll be like, this is our division to lose.
and the Texans. I think the Texans got worse
Yeah, they've definitely
due to
regressed,
due to the defense could be better, but due to the Tank Dell injury, which is a massive hit to them.
I think Higgins is a very good pickup for them. The second round wide receiver they got. I think he'll be a very, very good pickup for
Yeah.
them.
But they lost their starting left tackle. They're rolling with that. They've overpaid the Pittsburgh essentially backup left tackle that no one
Yeah.
really was going to pay.
Mm.
I think I can't remember his name. But he's not good. Like he's never been good, and they've overpaid him, and then got out Tunsil, who had his issues last year, and obviously wants his contract, which is all part of the game. But they've
I think the
essentially
contract
got.
was the main reason for Tunsil.
But they've essentially got worse on the offensive line.
Yeah.
On a team that couldn't afford to get worse.
Yeah, but
Not
maybe it
really.
was the scheme as well. Maybe
it could be.
the
Who they have-
scheme wasn't there to
Stoic's
protect
not there
him.
now. Stoic
No,
got-
yes, Stoic's gone. I think he's out of the NFL.
I don't think I think he's coaching college now, off the
Okay.
top
Yeah.
of my head. But
Yeah.
yeah. All right, next guy. This one I didn't really get.
Nah.
Ramondre Stevenson from the Patriots. Do running backs ever really have much to prove? It's such a fickle position.
I guess because it's a contract year for him.
Yes, he's going to
So then
prove
it's
that
like,
he's-
are you proving that you're worth starter money in the NFL? But
I don't think Ramondre Stevenson is a top 10 running back in the NFL. Like nowhere
No.
near it.
I think the fumbles hurt him a lot.
I think even at his best, he's athletic. He obviously when he gets in space, he's electric. But
ball
you
security
can-
is what I was going to say too.
yeah, but you can throw a rock in the college system and hit a guy
Yeah.
that's athletic like
yeah,
him.
you get a guy like that in the third round.
100%.
Well,
Yeah,
he was
yeah.
drafted in the 4th round.
Yeah,
Yeah,
like
okay.
I think he's done done a great job for his career, but
Sure.
I don't think he's the man there at all. Like
Nah,
he was splitting carries with Zeke a couple of years ago because
Yeah,
they
yeah,
didn't
yeah,
trust
that's
him
right.
enough. And
Yeah,
Zeke,
yeah.
like that was the core. Like Zeke almost came back alive for that last
No,
season with the Cowboys for a
dust,
moment.
The dust off the corpse.
Yeah, it was.
And I think towards the end of the year, you sort of saw the coaching staff phasing him out anyway because his carries sort of went away.
Mm.
I think he's only averaging like 3.7 yards a tote.
Like he might have some stuff to prove personally as a player, but I don't think
across
Ramondre
the
Ste-
NFL, he's not on
Yeah.
many radars. As
I don't think he's going to be a massive impact for the Patriots, and I believe fully that he will not be on the Patriots after the end of next season.
Sure.
He will
no,
go.
I don't think he's getting.
Because
Maybe that's why they
because-
put it on there. Is he worth prove that he's worth another team?
Yes,
picking him
that's
up
where I
kind of
think
thing?
the angle is. It's,
Yeah, but
Yeah.
I certainly don't think he is. If he shows that he is this year, I'd be more surprised. Like if he was.
Well, if it
amazing.
shows that he's good enough, then the Pats will keep him.
I don't know if
Yeah.
he's a starter in the NFL.
No, he's a what did you say last week that you couldn't spit out? He's a committee. He's
Oh,
a
yeah,
running
yeah,
back
yeah.
by committee guy.
Yeah.
He's your speed
Split
guy.
carry
He's a
kind of.
split carry,
Yeah.
speed guy, running back. Rocky?
So Pro Football Focus have him ranked as the number 35 running back in the league.
Yeah. Okay.
Let's just leave it at that.
Yep.
Every year he's actually regressed as well.
Okay.
he
I think that's
had a
why
good-
he has
a good
to
you got a good
improve.
rookie year and then just dropped off. I think he'll be out of the NFL in 2 years' time.
His first 2 years he was ranked 10th. 2023 he was ranked 31st, and last year he was ranked 35.
Okay.
Out of
Yeah.
59 running backs.
So the next one's a big one. it's always a big conversation.
I think this one's pretty
I
justified.
think
Always
he lives on
polarizing.
this list.
Kyle
Yeah.
Pitts from Atlanta.
No, he lives on this list.
Now, the
for most
latest
approved.
news is that they're trying to trade him.
That's what
Yes.
I
The,
said.
the Falcons have just given up on him. That they just don't think.
And
he's the man
rightfully so
anymore.
as well. Yeah.
He had a
he's
great
more than
rookie
enough
year.
opportunities there. That's for sure.
Put it into perspective. Like, there's a few things we've got to look at from like a holistic view of Kyle Pitts. His first season, he had a 1,000-yard season.
Mhm.
He was a very good rookie. He just didn't score touchdowns. But much like Ravondre Stevenson, he's regressed every single year. Now you can put that back on the quarterback play. You can put that back on Arthur Smith. You can put it
The
back. You can
schemes,
you can find. Trust me, I'm the master of finding ways to blame other people than Kyle Pitts.
I know. It's because you've got him in fantasy.
I don't know what it is. Like I just he's a unicorn to me. Guys like him shouldn't suck.
Mm.
But it turns out I'm running out of excuses for him, which is big because it's not often I'm out of excuses. Go
You know-
I'm not often out of it, and I am running out of excuses for Kyle.
Do you know what
Pitts.
my thing for him is? I get he's a genetic freak and he's a super athlete in college and all that sort of stuff, but he's also going to the NFL where everyone is that.
Yeah.
100%.
And then when you rely on those attributes alone, you get found out real quick and then you become a jag.
Yeah,
Just a guy.
Yep.
Can I say I think the best thing that could happen to Kyle Pitts is he does get traded elsewhere.
I think a fresh start.
fresh offense,
Yeah.
bit of pressure off him. Like people going, all right, well he's been traded now. He's not the guy. Like a Jonnu Smith's on a situation where he goes somewhere else, and then like Jonnu Smith got the big money from the Patriots, sucked, ended up back. I can't remember where he was
Miami.
last year. Miami, and he was
very
an
good at
awesome
Miami.
tight end
Yeah.
last year.
Contract year for him,
I
so
feel
that's
like I
always
feel like Kyle Pitts in a contract year needs that. He just needs to go somewhere
He is
fresh.
Desperate for a fresh start.
Yeah, I
He's
think so too.
Bleeding for
But
it.
also, like you said, the quarterback situation when you got Penix there.
Could change.
Yeah.
But the fact that they're trying to trade him makes me think
If
that-
they give up on him and they're deprived of offensive talent at that position,
I'd still think there will be 31 teams that would be very, very happily to experiment him on their team to see how
what do
it
you think
works
his trade value is? Like a fifth?
out. I would say third or fourth.
Third.
You reckon?
I would say a contending team's third, a bad
Yeah.
team's fourth.
Sure,
Yeah.
sure. Because they're about similar.
Yeah,
anyway.
like okay,
Yeah.
put it this way: what if you ended up at the Chiefs as Kelsey's backup for a year, and then playing some?
I
some
think the
snaps?
Chiefs system could turn anyone into.
That's what I mean. What if you ended up with a genuine? What if you ended up with Colton Loveland at the Bears? with Ben
Andy Reid will
Johnson?
make him a Pro Bowler, bro.
That's what I mean. Like if he ended up with a great coach that can scheme it up, even if he ended up at Detroit,
What about all the
oh, mate,
drops though?
if he ended up at at Cleveland with Stefanski
and the Joku.
and the Joku's like a guy that they have an established tight end, he's going to come in, play a role,
Mm.
learn from like a Kelsey and a Joku, someone like that,
Mm.
and then develop. And all even like an Eagles with Godert go and learn. He's a more athletic version of Godert. I guarantee the Eagles could get something out of him. Like I just think he's in the
Until he
wrong
drops
spot.
the ball on a flat to get a first down, and then they're like, the
I
city
think the
turns
drops
on
is a confidence thing too.
Yeah, that's like yeah.
No,
all these guys,
not the NFL.
all
It
these
can't be
guys can catch.
confident.
All these guys can catch. I'm telling you, everyone, these dudes that make the NFL that are receiving players, none of them cannot catch. They're not bad at catching a
Yeah.
football. They've probably caught 50,000 of them over their
Yeah.
career.
I think a lot of
It's,
it's between.
I think so too. I think it's between the years. He was a number 4 overall pick. It was obviously not a good pick now looking back at it, but I think plenty of teams still would have done it knowing what they knew out of college.
Sure.
Now, knowing what we know now, definitely not. But
Yeah.
I personally think if we want him to prove something this year, it's not on Atlanta.
Yeah.
And that's my excuse for him. But it's Atlanta's problem, not him. But he's certainly gone downhill.
Can't wait to discuss this again in 12 months' time.
Oh, I said I'll
It's
put it
been
this
3
way:
years.
if he has the same season this year like the others, that'll be it for me.
Yeah.
I'm giving him one more chance. I tend to
You're an enabler.
I'm a terrible owner and
Nah,
GM.
he's just being positive, man. Stop being a pessimist.
No,
bro.
I tend to ride guys out as season too long,
Yeah,
than
yeah.
season too early. Like I thought Jason Witten's last season at the Cowboys would be great, and I defended him all year, and he had like 300 yards and one touchdown where he like walking sticked his way.
Yeah,
in
he
the
was
end
very
zone.
slow.
And I was
Yeah,
like, but
yeah,
he's
I
still
remember
blocking well. And then the clips of him blocking, I'm like, oh,
Whiffing.
He only had 4 drops last year, so he wasn't the worst
How
in
many
the league.
targets? How many targets, please, bro?
79,
70 targets.
70.
Okay.
70
That's
targets.
pretty good.
So
Which was that first on the Falcons, or 18th in the NFL
targets, he was 16th. He was
for,
ranked
for
16th.
tight ends in the
For
NFL.
tight ends, yes.
Which, when you think about it, 16th is not high for tight ends. So, look, I think there's some fundamental issues in Atlanta that are going to. I think we all kind of feel the same about Atlanta. That I don't know if they can get it right. I think they're in such a hole that I don't know how
Do you know
they
what you
claw
should
their way out of
do?
it.
Trade your first round pick for next year for another edge.
100%.
Russia.
For a
Double
guy
down.
for a guy that no one wanted to take in
Yeah,
the
the
first
guy
round.
that was sliding. Yeah.
Every GM's like, we weren't taking him.
No,
Um,
double down.
It's still an odd move. I don't get that. Man.
It's bizarre, and it could
I'm
end
sure
up
they'll
being
pay off
it
very
could,
well.
could end
for
up being a
Rams.
top 10 pick for him.
Yeah.
Yeah, the Rams are gonna get their quarterback based off that. They're gonna get their next Matthew Stafford.
Yep.
Next guy who I think is very fair, Brandon Ayuk.
Yep, this is fair.
It's a bit unfair in the manner that he
I
got his
think it's
big
unfair.
contract.
Definitely.
No, I don't think it's unfair, and I'll tell you why, and then you can tell me why you think it's fair. He held out, like bitched, moaned, carried on. They were like, okay, we'll trade you. Pittsburgh want you. No, I'm not going anywhere.
Cleveland wanted him.
Cleveland wanted him.
Yeah.
There were teams that wanted him. They're like, no, I'm not going to any of them. You either pay me, and then they ended up paying him. 49ers paved him. He
Which
was
I
average.
hated. I should have fucking
Average for the
shipped him
first
out.
few weeks, then did his knee, which is the unfortunate part.
Yeah.
But now the pressure's on him because people recover pretty well from knees now. It happened early in the season, which is the silver lining of an
And
injury.
it wasn't
like that.
it wasn't too bad of an
No,
injury,
it
right?
was.
Yeah.
So he's fully recovered. He's on big money. He's the man here.
Yeah.
That he has to show that he's the man. Like he just
Yeah.
has to be competent for them this year.
I 100% agree. He's got to
Like,
prove he's worth the money.
Minimum 1,000-yard season, 6 touchdowns. Like that sort of guy. That's the minimum he has to output this year.
Yeah.
Anything less than that, and he has not
No,
proven
I
he's worth
disagree.
the money.
I think it's got to be like somewhere around the 12 to 1,300 yards and like
Nah,
eight-
that's
8
a
to 10.
monster year.
That's a
Coming
lot.
back-
Like 1,200 yards is a big year in the NFL.
Yeah, but
now.
like he's getting paid to do
yeah,
that.
but
though.
you're so I don't mind him holding out.
in a
because
Kyle
you look
Shanahan
at-
offense, that's what he should be doing.
I don't mind the holdout because everyone at the 49ers was on bloated contracts. He was with CMC, the guy on the offense.
Yep.
It was fair that Debo wasn't the guy. Kittle was great last year, but the year before
he was not great.
He was not good.
Injured a lot.
Yeah. So he was going into the offseason as basically the guy.
Yep.
With CMC. So he had all the leverage at that point.
And in fairness to him, the holdout paid off
Yes.
because players hold out to get the contract in case of this.
Yes.
So if he'd gone back
exactly.
and played without the contract, it would have absolutely killed him.
He'd
Like,
be
Correct.
he'd
was
be lucky to
great.
get 20 million.
it was
after the
great
knee.
business from him and his
Yeah,
agent.
that's
Yeah.
right.
Terrific business and well played by him to do it. But and I said the injury was
It's
sucked.
unfair, yeah.
It sucks. But unfortunately for him, he now has a lot to prove because he's coming in healthy and he's the man. And he's
I
being
don't
paid.
think coming off a knee injury, this year should be the year that he has something to prove. I think it should be next year.
If he sucks this year, right, as 700 yards, couple of touchdowns, like plays every game, but just isn't that good,
Hmm.
is he on the Niners the next year?
Yeah, I think he's
Yes,
Yes,
he will
only
because it's too
because-
much to cut.
Yeah.
Mm.
Well, they won't cut it. They'll try and trade him maybe.
I think they'll move him. Because I think if
someone's going to want him though.
I think someone would. There'd be
Yeah,
someone
I'll take-
for like a 6th or 7th round pick just to take the salary dump for a season. There's
Who's
someone
got
that would
salary
do it.
though? Yeah, well, teams find it.
Carolina will have him or someone like that.
Yeah, like a crappy team will have him.
Yeah,
No,
I don't
Carolina
know.
are going to win the division next year. Mate,
I-
so you back off our Carolina.
Stay away
No,
from
I'm a big Panther guy.
I don't have
Pound
an
it.
issue.
Rah!
No, I don't have an issue with the holdout. I think it's a
Wow.
little bit harsh to put him on the list for this year for something to prove coming off an injury. I think if he had, let's just say, less than 950 yards next year, then he should be on the list. Yes.
Yeah.
I think it's just a year early and it's a bit unfair for injury.
All right, before we go to the next 5 on the list, because the next 5 are now flicks to defense, we did a few of our own. I was thinking maybe we could do a couple each of our guys that are
Sure.
offensive guys. I'll start. I think someone who has a ton to prove this year, and again, I fully understand it's a bit unfair, but it's JJ McCarthy. And he has a lot to prove through no fault of his own. The franchise, he got hurt. Darnold did what he did last year and proved that, okay, if you're a competent quarterback,
The
you can
system
be
works, yeah.
extremely good in this system.
Yep.
Kevin O'Connell's a gun play caller. Addison and Jefferson are maybe the best wide receiver duo in the league. They're certainly up there. Jefferson's
Top two, at least.
it's him and Chase.
Cincy.
Him and
Yeah.
Chase are the argument every season. He has a ton to prove because the franchise have basically let Darnold go, who, other than the last 2 games last year, you would have thought was the best quarterback in the NFL if you'd never seen it before. And they've just gone, for the sake of paying him $33 million, which is not a lot in the scheme of NFL quarterbacks.
Signed him. I still
They have gone, nah, we're backing JJ McCarthy. So the pressure is dialed up. We have literally said in every conversation about the Vikings that the whole thing, everything in that team next year hinges on how good he
Yeah,
is.
it really
If
does.
he sucks, everything they have done is over. It doesn't matter anymore.
Mm.
If he's really good, Vikings are a perennial playoff team for the
And I
next
think
few
there's some
seasons.
genuine concerns there too, because obviously at Michigan they ran the ball a lot. You didn't have to throw
Dump
that
off the
much,
tight ends.
and didn't have to really try.
A
And
lot
push
of
the ball
RPO,
downfield.
which like RPO shows aptitude as a quarterback. Like if you can run RPO successfully, it means that you're smart.
It also
It's-
depends who are you doing it against.
but it's challenging though. Like running an RPO isn't just I snap the ball and I throw it to this guy. Like people think that an RPO is like a screen. No, it's a
no, but you got to
No, it's a
read it.
read.
You got to read a
You have
safety
to.
or an end.
and to
yes.
do that at a very high level in college system, as a Michigan team who are a good college team, like a great college team, a national championship winning team,
Yep.
to do that, it shows that you've got aptitude and brains and you can play the quarterback position.
Yes.
The
Yeah.
physical characteristics of JJ McCarthy is where I'm unsure.
And there's a
of.
big jump. There's a big jump up from college to NFL
Massive
too,
jump up
obviously,
because
as well.
everyone moves. It's the 1% of the college players.
Mm.
So the 1% of college players that move and fly around and are the best players, every one of them are like that at a
Yeah.
minimum.
Yep.
Mm.
So it's a huge jump. And I just think the pressure is
very
on
small.
him,
He's
fairly
very
or
small as
unfairly.
well.
The pressure is on him this season.
I'm not sure he can take. Personally, my opinion is I'm not sure he can take the hits.
I feel like knowing the Vikings, knowing how things go for them historically, I feel like this is going to backfire on them.
Mm.
Yeah, they do have a tendency
I
to
feel like-
go all in and it
I
blows
feel
up.
like
yeah.
Darnold is going to be really good, and
I don't know.
JJ. It'll go one with the other. One of them are going to suck. Darnold or McCarthy. One of them are going to suck next year, and one team's going to be saying "told you so," and one's going to be going shit.
Mm.
Well,
We
one of
fucked
them's
this
got
up.
Milrow, so it doesn't matter.
One's got Milrow.
It doesn't matter.
and Nick Emawari. I don't know if you got. Do you remember him?
yeah.
He's
Don't worry. I'm keeping him on.
he's a good
keeping him
safety.
on the D-load. Don't worry.
He's on my most approved list because Scotty's talking him up so much.
Well, most improved. He's
improved
walking.
since
Most to
being
improve.
His
drafted.
defensive.
He has to prove
He's
it.
depoy already. Don't even worry about it.
All right, Scotty, give us
So
one.
I've got an interesting one here. I've got Justin Fields, and I love Justin Fields,
I like it. I like that one.
but I think the stint at Chicago, obviously, he was deprived of offensive talent, this, that, and the other. Gets shipped off to Pittsburgh again. Not the worst team. He loses the job.
And apparently the
fairly or
Jets wanted to
unfairly.
keep him, and he didn't want to go back.
The Steelers.
So, no, sorry, apparently the Steelers
Yes.
sorry, wanted to keep him.
Yeah.
He didn't
The
want to go back.
Steelers were hell bent on keeping him.
Yeah.
So now he's on his third team in 6 years.
5
5 to 6 years.
I don't think he'd even ended his rookie contract when he got traded. It was only after
He
his third
definitely
year.
didn't.
No,
It
yeah,
was his
yeah.
fourth year. Yeah, because he
Yeah.
was a free agent. It was his
Yeah.
fourth year at Pittsburgh. Yeah.
So now he's on his third team and he's going in as
Third
the
team
starter.
in 5 years.
He's the defined starter there. Yeah, very, very crucial part of his career.
I feel like grading the Justin Fields Chicago era. And
It's unfair.
Tell
And I
me if
love
I'm
him.
wrong. That should just be wiped. It was so horrible. But
don't know
again,
about
I get.
wiped, but you gotta take
But
it with a
again,
grain of salt.
Caleb Williams walked into a similar situation
Yeah.
there, and he was much better.
He's only in year two. Well, to be fair, he had Roma
Roma Dunze.
Roma
and
Dunze.
I think
and the bones of
Kellen Moore.
Kellen,
No, Kellen
Allen.
Allen.
Kellen Allen. Yeah,
And then Fields had a really good year with Moore
yeah, exactly.
like
Yeah.
when they traded.
Exactly.
Yeah, the Bears played that well.
Yeah. So I just think now where he's going into his third situation, it's a very crucial point. Like this is maybe his last time. Pencil him as a starter
Mm.
to start the offseason.
Oh, this is make or break for him this
Yeah.
year.
Yeah.
It's a very fair most. I'm shocked he's not on this list.
That's
I would
'cause
have him
it's a
on
pretty
this-
boxy list.
I would have him on this list over Caleb Williams in a heartbeat.
Oh yes. Caleb Williams.
Justin
so
Fields is
unfair.
playing this season to be considered a starter for the rest of his career,
Yes, that's
or
right.
not.
Yep.
Or be a backup gadget. We can run a few things with him.
Yeah.
Sort of go.
There's
Maybe,
no.
yeah.
I don't think there's anyone in the NFL that has more to lose than Justin Fields this year.
Yeah, and the Jets, in fairness, they're not an untalented offense. I don't think. There's rumors they're trading Brees Hall, which
Yes,
is
Or no, there's rumors they're going to potentially trade one of their 3 running backs before the trade deadline.
Okay.
What the fuck does that mean? What, like,
Oh, well, I think the only one with actual value is Brees Hall.
no,
he's
the
shown how good he
backup.
is.
I can't remember the big bruising running back. He looked all right for a portion of time. But like, what does that mean? Oh, they've got a loaded running back room, so there's potential if nothing's going well at
I think Brees Hall will only be traded if someone comes in and goes, "Hey, we want him this, and we're going to give you something
Mhm.
valuable for
Yeah.
him." I think if someone comes in and goes, "Oh, we'll give you a 6th-round pick for him," they're stupid to do it.
oh, why
ride
would you?
with
The
him.
upside's so high.
Ride with him and just leave in free agency. Their running backs are
Braylon Allen.
Braylon Allen.
Yeah.
Everyone's very high on Braylon Allen,
Yeah.
and that's why he was a rookie last year. That's why they think that Brees Hall's become disvalued to the
Expendable, yeah.
expendable. That's a much better word. All right, George, have you got one in offense?
Yeah, I got Brock Purdy.
I had Brock Purdy too.
All right, snap. You guys do a snap, please.
Snap.
That was
Double.
The gayest thing of all time.
Caleb Williams' fingernails are less gay.
Make sure you
Well-
jump on the Spotify to watch that or the YouTube.
No,
like and subscribe.
No.
Mark, thanks, Brocky.
You shoot first. Is yours?
He's a simple answer is he's got to prove he's worth the money now.
Yeah, that's fair.
Because he was before he was getting paid half a bag of Doritos and a can of Coke. Now he's getting paid quarterback money. You got to be a franchise quarterback.
I mean,
Before, wasn't he
there's
like
no
the
more-
17th highest
Yeah.
paid college quarterback? Or
No
something?
more.
32nd.
32nd highest
no
paid
more
college
no more
quarterback.
excuses now. Like you got to be the man. You got to be the man, and you got to be the man that you got to prove that it wasn't just lightning in a bottle making that Super Bowl. You got to actually do it year on year now.
Yeah.
Why I had him on the list because when everything's going really well at the 49ers, he's a competent 7 through to 12 quarterback. When everything turns to shit, he looks like he shouldn't be starting in the NFL.
Yeah, he's all at sea. I agree.
And last year, it was one of those things where it's like you need him to lift. You need him to be the tide that raises the boats, and he's not that guy. But now he's getting paid to be that guy, and we criticize Lawrence, for that. And Lawrence has shown that he's got the talent to make all the throws, the touch throws, the cannon throws, force it into tight coverage. Purdy throws these ducks, and
Yeah.
I say it all the time. There's like 5 or 6 a game that you see these ducks just floating
Yep.
across the field.
Mhm.
And because we don't go to the games, obviously, you don't know where it's going. You don't know if a safety's just picked that off. You don't know, but it looks like it's the most dangerous throw in the NFL.
I 100% agree. I definitely question his arm strength. It's
Not necessarily. I don't know if it's arm strength.
Oh.
I don't know if it's a release thing or a technical thing, or he doesn't step into it.
It doesn't look like it has
Whenever
touch.
whenever you fucking seen him just step up and absolutely rip 140 yards down the field.
No, I don't think he's got that
He
absolute.
doesn't.
Cannon.
He doesn't have
no,
it. That's my
Oh,
point.
I think you could find some moments. But
Yeah.
none that.
he's not known.
I think any quarterback you could find some moments.
Yeah.
But it's not consistent.
I don't think it'd be very
But
consistent at all.
put it this way, right? There is a reason guys get drafted in the 7th round, and everyone throws back to the Tom Brady's of the world, right? Tom Brady is an anomaly outside of
Yes.
the top 5, rounds.
Look at the other
Comparing-
300
comparing
quarterbacks that have been
Anyone's
drafted.
to Tom Brady is
And-
not fair.
and
It's not-
and
not worth
Tom
it.
Brady's success came from he got benched in college.
Mm.
Like he was
No, he wasn't benched. He was the fourth. He was the fourth string quarterback when he went to Michigan.
exactly like he was not a great college player, and he still got drafted regardless of that because Bill Belichick could see the traits in him. He outworked everyone in the NFL.
Yep.
Correct.
I don't know if Brock Purdy's that. Like, it's just unfair to be like, well, Brady went in the 6th round. Like, quarterbacks can be successful. History tells us that quarterbacks go late in the draft. Players go late in the draft for a reason.
reason.
Yeah.
There's always a NFL franchises are not that dumb to just not draft guys earlier.
And I'm sure
they're
if you
good.
look at Brock Purdy's sheet, it would say smart kid, has high aptitude, can make the reads, but can't make all the throws.
Well, there was this good
I
clip.
bet you'd
of-
be like throws ducks. That's it.
Yeah,
That's what
yeah.
would be on there.
no, I think it was just quack quack.
Yeah, it would be on there. Like think about it.
He's a big Mighty Ducks fan. No, they had this clip of him and Daniel Jeremiah, who's a big
Yeah,
NFL scout,
yep.
does now a podcast now of Daniel Jeremiah's like breakdown of him coming out of college as a
Mhm.
draft expert. It's brutal,
Yeah.
brutal. And then he breaks down Daniel Jeremiah's tape from Appalachian State.
Oh wow. Okay.
It's a great clip. It's very funny.
Yeah.
But like there are reasons you go there, and Brock Purdy now has to prove that he's an exception to the rule.
I do also think that that's the perfect fit for him. Like Shanahan
I think
is the perfect. He would not be anywhere near as good for any other
I
team.
don't think
other
he'd
than for
be in the
Shanahan.
NFL if he wasn't in Shanahan's
I
system.
100% agree.
Yeah,
I
I
do
don't
too.
think maybe people wouldn't have seen
that's
that they
harsh.
could use him at other teams. Shanahan's the master of finding diamond in the roughs. He doesn't.
And-
Well, I think Shanahan's the master of masking weaknesses.
That's what
Yeah,
it is.
very fair.
Exactly.
And then if you can put any quarterback in a super controlled situation where you're like, here's your read 1, here's your read 2, here's your read 3, that is it. That is what you that's what you look at.
He's
And
very
when you're in the
systematic.
NFL, apart from your man Anthony Richardson, if you can't make those 3 reads, you don't deserve to be in the NFL.
That's fair. Very
Like
fair.
And that's why I'm saying Richardson can't be in the
I,
NFL.
I know.
Yeah,
I was.
That's all I'm saying.
He was like semi-agreeing with you, but not agreeing.
No, he just doesn't want to agree with me yet. But
No,
in,
I'm-
No, I don't want to agree. No,
in a month he will. It's fine.
no, I don't
It's
want to
coming.
agree with you. And he's on the list, but I don't want to agree because the athleticism and just the genuine like.
Well, let's go to your next
Okay,
one. Let's
okay.
Anthony Richardson. Like,
Oh,
I think
no,
it's-
actually, my next one is actually yes, it is AR-15.
Yeah.
Yeah, so
He doesn't even wear 15. Can we change his
Wait,
nickname?
that's
sorry.
his nickname, bro. Get over it.
It's AR-5. I got that with Austin Reeves.
It's
My
a-
bad.
It's Gunbrock and he's got a cannon. Remember, come on, stay with the
Yeah.
class, man.
And he can run.
So
Why was he shushing? He can run.
Myself.
Oh, you're shushing yourself. Fair enough.
yeah, so no, like we talk about polarizing and we talk about most approved. We're past the point that he's raw.
Yes.
I think that's run its course. Now it's you need to step up, and you've been called out a few times. You've been called out because you tapped your helmet and you left because you were gas. You've been called out for your off-field stuff.
You've been called out by your own players, your own leaders
Players,
of your team
past
saying
players.
you need to put in more.
Yep.
Mhm.
Like
And-
guys like DeForest Buckner don't call people out just for the sake of
No,
doing it.
no. He
They
is a
are
well-respected
pro veterans that
Yes.
they only call someone out when he feels he needs to.
And I feel like that there may have been discussions before that, and it may have fallen
No
on
doubt.
deaf
I
ears.
100% agree.
And
not
now
gonna
he's
do
like,
that.
"Hey, now I'm calling you out in public."
Exactly. He's not doing that off the hip. There's something happened in the background
Yeah.
before he said that.
100%.
Yep. So, for all the reasons, it is a boom or bust year for Anthony Richardson.
He's the complete antithesis of Purdy. Purdy's smart, capable, high aptitude, can make the reads, but just struggles to make the big throws in key moments. Fine. He's the opposite. Yeah, he can uncork at 60 yards, but he's too dumb to play quarterback. It's simple as that.
It's definitely make or break. For
He's
him
too
this year.
dumb. He's just
He's
too dumb.
either out of the
It's
NFL.
make or break for
or
him,
a stud.
Steichen, and Bollard.
Yeah,
The three of them are all intertwined.
I truly believe it more than anything. I believe that if Anthony Richardson doesn't work out, both those
So
guys
play,
are out of a
play-
job.
Play it forward. He's got the injury now.
Well, they think he's going
he's
to be
fine for training.
He's going to be fine for training camp.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So basically, all eyes will be on training camp because they're splitting reps. Have already come out and said they're going to split first team reps. It's all eyes are going to be, can he run that offense?
What it should be is, can Steichen get him in a situation to not be so erratic?
Yeah, I the more I think about it, I don't know if he can. I hope he can, but I think it's getting to the point where I don't know if any coach can get him at the level.
Well,
that
that's
he
why
needs to
that's why we're discussing him, because he needs to be at that
And
be.
level.
He has to, or I truly believe he's not a
And
backup.
why do you
People
say
don't
that?
want him as a backup
Why do you say that?
because he hasn't shown it. All he's shown is physical ability.
Yeah.
And I watch his physical ability and I see his throws and I see him move around
See him running over linemen,
and I'm like,
Yeah, the
how
guy's
does
enormous. We know that.
how does this guy suck? It baffles me how this
I
guy
know.
can suck with all the
Was
resources
I going to
around
tell
him.
you?
That you don't think
he's too dumb.
intelligent.
He's too dumb.
And you may be right, but there's also been nothing's ever come out about that he's a dumb person.
Listen to him talk, bro.
No, but people talk differently. You can't just be like because
No,
of
no,
the
I'm
way
not talking
he
about
speaks.
his slang or his accent. I'm talking about he just says
Well,
dumb things.
He
bro.
never talks when he talks about football. He keeps it extremely vague.
Yeah.
Which is fair. Which
well, he
again,
probably doesn't want to be absolutely berated in the media as well.
it's tough. He has
He's in
backed
it.
himself into a really
Yeah.
The Colts and himself have backed themselves into a really tough corner.
Yeah, like it's not his fault they picked him at pick 5.
No, that is
and
not
also
his fault.
they threw him to the wolves in the deep end. Whatever analogy you want to use, they threw him in when he wasn't ready. It was clear.
100%.
So they haven't done the right
So
thing
who
from the
takes
start.
the blame for that?
all of them.
Oh,
I'm
yeah.
telling you, all of them. If
I think Bollard needs to take the blame first, because he takes the pick and he doesn't have a plan in place to make the pick work.
They had Minshew that year,
Yes.
and then when AR got hurt, they went to Minshew, and he was a lot more capable.
Decent.
So I think that falls on Steichen as well, and maybe you never know what the direction from the team is coming down.
all the ownership.
It falls on the Colts as a franchise that they haven't done the right thing by
Mhm.
him. And we know what we know about young quarterbacks is that you can do a lot of damage in the first couple of seasons.
Sure.
Mm.
You can do a lot of mental damage to them, and they can not gain their confidence back enough to then be successful.
But is it possible that, obviously Steichen's a good coach. Like you
Agreed.
saw in Philly, he was great.
Yep.
Super Bowl run, blah, blah, blah. Is it possible that he tried his absolute best to work with him and he's just gone, I just can't do anything.
and
with this
that
guy.
will
That's
come out
possible.
this season. But
Or-
unfortunately for Steichen, he was hired to get the most out of Anthony Richardson, and he will be fired for not getting the most
Yeah.
out of him.
Or
That is the
it
simplest.
that Steichen,
Even though he's not up to it, it's still Steichen's fault.
It's it.
or
teams don't
are
reach
we
there.
all wrong on Steichen? Maybe Steichen was a product of the Philly culture and the coaching staff at the time. And then he's got this head coaching job, and maybe he's just not a good head coach. Or maybe
Potentially,
we've overrated him as an offensive coordinator or an offensive mind.
maybe
and
great
then-
OC, bad head coach. There's plenty of
That's-
them.
That's something. Yeah.
There's
Yeah.
plenty of bad head coach, good coordinators running
Yep.
around. Vic Fangio is one of them.
Mm.
There's
Yep.
plenty of
Eric
them.
Eric Bieniemy.
Eric Bieniemy couldn't get
He
himself
never
a head
got.
coaching
He never
job.
got it. Yeah.
Like he just couldn't.
Yes, he got one at Washington.
At Washington in the
Oh, for
NFL,
a
and
year.
he was
Yeah.
the man for 5 years. Like this
Yep.
guy's getting it. This guy's
Yep.
getting it. He'll be the coach at Washington. He'll be the coach at the Niners. Like it was every season, and every team would interview him and then go, nah.
Yeah.
And you can blame race, and you can say, oh, it was the Rooney Rule. No, he was too competent a coordinator for teams to just go, nah. There was something he was doing that teams were going, I don't like this.
Yeah.
And that's just the fact, because if teams thought he was a great coach and going to be a great head coach, they would have hired him.
Yeah.
A team would have done it. So, all right. My other guy was Sam Darnold, who I kind of touched on.
Yeah,
before.
I had Darnold too.
I think McCarthy and Darnold work. As I said, I think one team will be saying, I told you so. One will be saying, shit, what have we done?
Yeah.
I truly
The-
believe
the-
that.
My only other last one is Debo. He's got a lot to prove this year.
Yeah.
He's got
Yeah.
to prove that he
Contract
can,
year.
contract year and traded to a new team. He's got to prove that he's can be in shape and be an NFL player, mate.
It's a worrying start, really.
Did you see how bad he looked?
Yeah.
In those couple of
Yeah.
OTA
They
videos.
just-
It
He
looked like that.
awful, man.
He's not a receiver. They have to go back to what the Niners did with him and try and duplicate it. And if he says, oh, I don't want to do that, you say, well, then you're not on our team.
Yeah.
You
I
either
don't-
do this or
Yeah,
you
but-
don't play
but
for it.
James-
I think defenses are better now. I don't think you can
Maybe not.
duplicate that and then get the same results.
He doesn't have he doesn't have the physical characteristics anymore to be able to do that.
I think
that
he's
running
more
back
physi-
receiver hybrid type thing.
I
It's
think he's more
happening.
physically built to play more running back and slot and gadget stuff than what he was.
He's too slow.
Then-
He's too slow.
Potentially. I said he was bad.
Those OTAs videos that I saw,
And-
he looked slow, man.
He-
It looked like me running routes.
You know how sometimes teams get
Cheap
like
shot.
Those are rare.
Those are rare.
you know how teams sometimes get like the fun package out and they get like a defensive tackle to run as a fullback.
Yeah.
That is
That's what it looked like.
That's
It
what
looked awful, bro.
like
Oh, wow.
It was like wobbling down the field, man. It's there. It's on tape.
It looked like James Harden when he was trying to get traded out of the Philly wearing
Yeah,
a bat
yeah.
suit. That's
Wearing the bat
exactly.
suit.
I thought you were going to say James Arthur then. I was going to be incredibly
Whoa.
unoffended.
Hey.
Oh, I've
Remember
got-
your 100 meters.
He's got.
He runs like a duck.
because they gave up.
I've actually got two more.
14 flat.
Yeah, go. Gives you two more.
Please do.
I've got CMC.
Oh, 100%.
CMC. Yeah. So insane contract.
I think that's slightly unfair.
Only because of the insane contract. He got paid a boatload of money,
Mhm.
deservingly so. He's 31
Mhm.
and coming off the injuries.
Yeah.
Now I know it's a bit contradicting that I said one guy's coming off injury,
Yeah,
so
well,
he
that's
doesn't
what I was
deserve to be
gonna
on the
say.
list.
No,
Yeah,
but
injuries.
from a personal point of view, if say his career ends next year, he's still going to go down as one of.
He's a great
He's
player.
going to go down as an amazing runner. He's probably a Hall of Famer still from what he's already shown. Like you win an Offensive Player of the Year.
I
and
think
he's won 2 Offensive Players of the Year. One at Carolina, one at Niners.
He's 29.
Yeah, but if you look at
He's 29 as well.
29. So I think if you look at when is the season starts? I think that's where I saw he was 30.
No, he'll still be 29. He's only 29 in 11 days right now.
Oh,
Okay.
happy birthday, CMC.
Yeah, I'm just about to shit all over you.
No, I think
Like a
that's
scrub.
unfair. I think that's really unfair, Scotty, because all right, last year he had the injuries. Obviously, wasn't set the world on fire before that.
Well,
The
he barely played.
Well, he came back for 8 games last year, or
The-
7 games
did
last
he
year.
really?
4 games.
The
Played
year-
4 games
yeah,
last year.
like 3 or 4 games. So the year before, he was probably the best player in the league.
Well, he should have got the MVP.
That's what I'm saying. So it's a little bit unfair.
Yeah.
Yes, but now he's at that age with the contract.
Yeah, I think the right way to say it, he unfairly has a lot to prove this year.
Mm.
Yeah. And I think for the 49ers success as well, he needs to be there.
There's a lot of
Put it
it's
this way,
based on
If he's injury free this year, at the end of the year, he'll be like in the offensive player of the year
Oh, I
conversation.
agree.
I don't
think
know.
so. No, I think he will.
that
I
age.
100%. If he's,
think
if
he's
he's
too talented.
injury free, he'll be in the Opoy discussion, guaranteed.
This is
Oh,
his
no.
11th
No, I don't
year.
think. I don't think guaranteed. I think if he's injury free all year, he'll be a 1,800 scrimmage yards, so
Yeah.
running and receiving, and be great.
That's
Rocky?
enough to be in the Opoy conversation.
I just want to bring it up. This would be his 11th year. So going on the back of his last 10 years, he's only played 5 full seasons.
Mm.
So he's
Yeah.
been very injury prone.
Yeah, he
I
is.
think that's the biggest issue with him as well.
Yeah,
And yes, he's a
100%.
gadget guy, but
Not
you
necessarily.
said it last week. Your best ability is availability,
Very fair.
and he hasn't been available the past 4 years,
No,
except
very
for
fair.
1 year.
Where he should have been the MVP.
We should have won the MVP. Yeah.
But he didn't. So it doesn't
No,
matter.
he didn't. But
Ah.
yeah, look, he was still very good.
You're just
Um,
saying that because
Have you got any other offensive guys?
I do, and this one's probably my most
Going
controversial.
to ruffle some feathers. I like these.
No.
I got Justin Herbert.
Ooh, I like it.
I
like
like it.
it.
I hate you, but I like it because you're bringing the
I
prince.
love-
You're bringing the Prince of LA into here, and
I
you're-
love Herbert.
No,
Yeah.
no, I don't. I think,
But
that's
I
unfair.
think-
No, I don't agree with that at all. They had,
I
a good, they had a
think-
good season last year. They
actually wasn't as
Bad-
good as you thought.
No.
It was.
bad playoff game. Playoff game wasn't great.
Well, he threw more interceptions than his playoff game.
He had
for the
4
entire
picks,
season.
yeah, and then 3
season.
picks of the season.
Wild.
He's 0-2 in the playoffs.
Mhm.
Okay, I think he gets a bit of a pass mark because the talent is just in spades there.
Yeah.
And then I'll look through through a few of the teams he's had. He's had very good teams without any success. And I don't want to say bust, but
He also had Staley coaching him, like
I know
who openly
I get
cost them winning. A
Who was the
division.
coach he had when he threw 5,000 yards that year?
Staley.
No, it was the one before that.
Lynn.
It was his second year in the
Anthony
league.
was it Anthony
Anthony
Lynn?
Lynn.
Anthony
I was going to
that's
say
it, yeah.
Lynn Spence.
shout out.
Shout at the big dog.
GB.
Button up, big boy.
But
Anyway,
yeah,
continue.
I've got Herbert. So just yeah,
No,
this
it's
is-
not unfair. It hurts, but it's
Because
not
I-
unfair.
we love him. We love
Yes.
the gunslinger. We love the guy that's going to win you a game or throw 4 picks. We love that. But at a certain point, you need to get the runs on the board. And he going 0-2 in the playoffs, like I said. And we know that he's had talent, hasn't had talent. He's had talent, hasn't had talent.
I still don't think they're overly talented offensively this season. I just don't.
Well, we need to see like I said before, we need to see the tide raising the boats,
yeah,
or is
yeah,
he,
true. It's going to tell us can he said if we're going to belittle Lawrence and Purdy and Williams to an extent, he's in that same characteristic. He's
Yep.
been paid. He needs to now show that. I think he's the man. I'm confident that he can show that.
100%.
But he's
Yeah.
under pressure.
Yeah.
But there is a little bit of pressure on him.
Yeah.
This
He's
is
a
it.
good coach in the building. It's.
I've got a sneaky feeling they're making a deep playoff run this year.
I hope so.
I'm more confident
Chargers
this year. It's
deserve
all
it.
got. I'm definitely more confident that everything's going to be ironed out. Year 2 in the system, they got good running backs in the room now.
Yeah,
More talent. Yeah, I have a feeling that it's all going to iron itself out. But as we're talking about it today, he sort of needs to be on the list.
Yeah, that
Unfairly, all fairly.
It's a surprising one and a hurtful one.
Yeah.
And you're hurting as much
Oh
as I
yeah,
am.
yeah. I didn't. I
It's
put it
like-
down the bottom.
It's like picking your favorite kid. It's
Yeah.
like, oh, you
Oh.
have, everyone has one, but you can't.
None.
You can't say it.
None of them.
Wow.
If you got kids, if you
Shout
know,
out to
you know.
Frank- Shout out to Frank Aniston.
Yeah, if you know, you know.
All right, let's get to some defensive ones. We're back to the Pro Football Focus list.
Yep.
This is the most unfair player
This is
on this list.
Absolutely.
Max Crosby being in the category of the most to prove. I don't love Max Crosby's personality.
I'm coming around to
I
it
think
actually.
The whole Antonio Pierce, him on the podcast saying, "Oh, he's the man." We all knew it was going to suck. My coaching disaster scale told us there was an algorithm
Very
for how
accurate,
bad it was
very
going to.
accurate.
Never been more accurate in my life, other than when I knocked up my 2 kids. But yeah.
Wow.
He
Oh God.
he sold the farm, and I said, but on the field, he plays injured. He
Yeah.
tries his guts out. If every Raiders player could grab his effort and put it inside them, that would be a playoff team without any talent.
I haven't watched
He's
a
that-
lot of
he
Raiders
works that
games,
hard.
in fairness. I haven't watched a lot of them.
Try
You will
hard,
be this year.
guts
eh?
out.
Yeah,
Surely.
I will be. I
Yeah.
will be. I'm really high on the Raiders this year, but I've never seen him phone it in ever. He's always like balls to the wall every play.
He like pulled his calf in a game. It might not, I think it was last year, maybe the year before. literally pulled his calf, and the medics were like, "You shouldn't play anymore. Like, don't play." And he convinced the coach to be like, "No, I'm playing." Like, ran on the field, drag me off if you want. I'm playing.
Yep.
And still played better than most of the players on the field.
And
Like-
Hart in the NFL counts for a lot.
You
in my
can't
opinion.
just you can't to say that he has something to prove individually is fucking
I
outrageous.
thought it was, yeah.
And there's a couple more coming up, but
Yeah.
Max Crosby, I think we can all agree that is the worst player on this
No.
list. He has nothing to prove as a player.
Not the worst, but a very close to the worst.
Yes. Next one on the
He
list.
has no business being on this list, man.
Next one
this
who
one's stiff as well.
who I think has no business being on this
Yeah.
is Quinton Williams.
Can I go through his?
Yeah, you can.
His stats
He's phenomenal.
as an inside defensive tackle for the people who don't know who we're talking about. 25 solo tackles and 6 sacks from a guy that lives eating double teams.
Double teams, yeah.
That is his sole responsibility. In a 3-4 defense, you eat
it's
tackles.
it's
and guards,
insane
centers,
to me.
whatever.
Like on a team that fell apart last year, he was still a shining light.
Shining light.
Yep.
He's one of the big reasons why that defense it has been competent the last couple of seasons.
Yep.
And
Yeah,
sorry,
absolutely.
the year before last year, very good.
All
he
pro
was one of
standard.
I think he was an all pro the year before.
Yeah,
He is
Yeah.
like, what does he have to prove? And I always put it down to the guy. If guys have something to prove that if they're not as successful as
You're
everyone thinks this year, that you okay, big dog? Yeah, a stroke.
I'm thinking.
Your thinking face is very much like a stroke.
Yeah,
face.
just like rubbing your.
No, I'm thinking
calm your
about what
brain
you're saying.
down. Calm
Yeah,
your brain
no,
down.
you're right. You're right.
No, so
Sorry,
Quinn
go.
Williams, it's like hinges on how good he is. And if he was available, 31 teams would have him like that.
Oh,
like
absolutely.
in a heartbeat. There would not be a team that was like, we'll take him. What do you
Especially
want?
so good and such a high character guy too. He
And
anywhere-
young.
And young.
Yeah, young.
He's like
So-
26. Like, it blows my mind. How old is he,
Outrageous.
Brocky?
27
27.
Yeah.
Like it's
and a half.
He's prime.
Yeah.
Defensive player age.
It
It's
is.
ridiculous. I don't get why he's on this list, and I don't.
And
understand
it may be salary dependent and stuff like that. But I think,
I think he's paid well within his output.
oh,
Yeah, it's pretty fair
Every-
conversation for his output.
It's a
Yep.
great. He's
Every-
very fairly paid for what he
every
does.
defense wants a game wrecker up front.
Yeah.
Everyone knows that. We just saw Philly do it. The Kansas City line is decent. The Bills have a decent line. Obviously the Lions, all these guys have game wreckers up front. And you've got a genuine one at defensive tackle. Come on.
Well, you just mentioned
Something to
you just
prove.
mentioned the teams you just mentioned: Chris Jones,
Yes.
Jalen Carter,
Yes.
and Detroit.
Ed Oliver.
Ed Oliver at Kansas at Bills.
Yeah.
And then Detroit had that. It's McMeem or McLean, the
Yes.
big nose tackle
Yep.
who got hurt last year, and literally after he got hurt,
They fell apart.
they fell apart,
Yeah.
stopping the run.
Yeah.
Like all those 4 teams you just mentioned have the same sort of guys, Quinton Williams, and they're all successful, and they're a big part of that.
Yeah.
It blows. Aleem McNeil.
Yeah.
Outstanding nose tackle. Like
Yes.
outstanding.
Yeah.
Like, to the point where they signed Reader to play nose tackle so they could play him as a 3 to get
Exactly.
more out of him.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So a pass rushing 3. Yep.
Like
It is absurd. And PFF are usually they're usually bang on, but come on, guys. You know the importance of a dominant interior D lineman.
Yeah, Crosby and Williams is just it's out of character. It's
Yeah.
it's just doesn't make
I
sense.
don't even, this next one, I don't even like this one either.
No,
No,
this one I
Patrick Queen.
thought about it a bit more.
So
on,
Patrick Queen who's now at Pittsburgh, ex-Raven, he's got a lot to prove because they paid him a ton of money
Mm-hmm.
and he wasn't great for the Steelers.
What
last
is his
year.
salary, please, Brock?
I think he's on about 16 to 17 mil a year.
He
or
was the
something.
highest paid middle linebacker, off-ball linebacker behind Roquan Smith when he signed for the Steelers.
Yeah.
I think
He
it was
might
3
have-
years, $55 million off the top of
Yeah.
my head. But he got paid a lot of money to be a really good player, and he was just solid. He needs to prove now. First round pick, I think a top 10 pick for the Ravens.
Yes, I think
Um,
so. And only
Nah,
when he was at the Ravens.
Pick 28.
Oh, pick 28.
And
Okay.
only when
First
he was
round
at the
pick.
Ravens, he had 3. Average is probably a little bit
His
harsh.
best year was with Roquan
They
'cause he-
traded for
'cause- 'cause
Roquan,
he- 'cause
and
he-
then
'cause he
that
played-
half of the year.
because he played Will.
Yes.
He's not a Mike.
Yeah.
And he didn't play that well last year for Pittsburgh, and he's got a lot to prove purely because if he doesn't prove he's worth it, he's not on the Pittsburgh Steelers at the end of next season.
That's
He is
fair.
a cut candidate. He's gone at the end of next
I
season.
think they've got more guys on higher salary they need to get rid of before him.
But
but your point- I
I
see
think
your
he'd
point.
be part of that because they're not
Yeah.
going to keep paying him a lot of money to not give.
No,
him out
they've
for
got
it.
other guys.
Give it to us, Brock.
So he signed a 3-year, 41 million with Pittsburgh. This year, his cap hit is 17.5 million,
Jesus, how good is my?
and
a
next year
lot
is
of money.
17 million as well.
Yeah, so it's up there. It's up
So
there.
if he wants that 17 million next year from Pittsburgh or from anyone, because no one will give him that money if he's cut, because he's been cut for a reason, he needs to show.
You're,
this
you're
shit.
getting paid that money. You need to be at that level.
You
high
need
up,
to be.
clean, like even like playing at that Zach Ball level, like last year.
Yes,
how he
you
was playing.
need to be in like Pro Bowl.
You need to be.
All-Pro
I think you need to
conversation.
be probably a top 6-7 inside linebacker at that money.
Yep.
That's what he's getting paid,
Incredibly fair.
and I think that he wasn't quite there. So that's why I can see the justification for him being on the list. When I dived into it a little bit more, I was like, oh, that's actually
No,
bang on.
I think it's a really good one.
Yeah.
The next guy who I think is an absolute knockout for a lot to prove.
Yep.
G. Alexander.
And this was before he got cut. I thought this was
No. Well, they've got him not
got
on
him
the
in-
team.
no. But I'm
NFL.
saying before he got cut from Green
he still had a lot
Bay,
to
he was
prove.
definitely on the
Still
list
on
for.
the
So
list.
he's now going to be a mercenary. He's going to be a top tier mercenary.
Mhm.
If I had to guess where he signs, it'll be the Eagles. I truly think he'll play for the Eagles this season.
Mm,
It's that sort of. They're the sort of guys they sign for a 1-year deal, and it really pays off for him.
sure.
And he'll be looking for the next big contract,
Yep.
which won't be from the Eagles,
Definitely
but it'll
won't
be from someone else.
Hey, if the
after
Eagles
it has
can
a
get
big year.
Slay another contract, they can get anyone another contract.
100%. So I think Jerry Alexander is 100% got a lot to prove because he needs to be available for minimum
That's the thing.
16
He's just gotta
games.
get on the fucking.
Because
field.
when he plays, he's great.
Yeah.
Oh, he's an all pro. He's a genuine
he's a
all pro. when he
great,
plays.
great corner when he plays. He's one of
Yeah.
the best. The Green Bay got tired of him not playing.
Yeah.
Simple as that. I know people want to go, oh, his personality, they didn't like it. No, it's nothing to do with that.
Nah, I don't care.
There was never an issue. He did a few weird things, like he went out for the captain's toss because he felt like it. It was a bit of a joke. Like teams like that. Like players like that sort of
I'll
stuff.
tell you right
That's a
now,
bit of character.
If he played every game and was a top 5 corner, they wouldn't give a shit.
No, and it was purely because they're paying him a lot of money and he wasn't playing
He's
a lot of
playing,
games.
man. That's it.
So I think he's got a lot to prove because whoever signs him, and I think if he's smart, he should be thinking next contract, not this contract.
Absolutely. He's,
1-year deal, good team, ball out. Then he gets his his last pay.
He'll look great in Philly green.
I'm telling you, I think
do
he
you
will play.
get sick of saying that?
No, because every good player looks good in Philly green.
No, I think he already.
Perspective.
I think he
Am
already
I
got.
wrong though?
Yes, you're
Did
wrong.
he-
Not every
Absolutely
player-
wrong.
Did he already get paid his 12 mil? He doesn't need,
No, he needs to sign a 1-year deal and worry about his next
but he
contract.
doesn't need to make that 10 to 12 mil to go to whoever's got cap space. You've already been paid for this year. Just go to a team that's going to
And
make you look good.
I
I hope he goes to Buffalo or something.
Yeah, like speaking schematically, like Philly might not suit him. I think he needs to
Play a lot of
find.
zone.
Yeah, I think he needs to find the best team that scheme fits him the best, and just have a baller year and be a playoff
Philly
team.
scheme works.
Like
good
it'd
for
be
him.
awesome if he went to Detroit. That would. But
Yeah, well, they got
it would-
DJ
in
Reed in the
division?
offseason.
Nah.
But except I don't think his cost. I think any contending team will be able to afford him because I think if he's smart and his agent, who are going to say to him, "Hey, you're not playing for this year's contract.
Mhm.
You're playing for the next contract. You're playing for the Browns to give you 4 years, 40 million.
The
Mm.
Titans.
That's what. Yeah, the Titans. You're
Yeah.
playing for that. Don't worry about this year. This year is about playing with the best team
Can you imagine
for you.
just if he goes to the Titans with Snead? That'd be amazing.
It'll be all
Two
right.
lockdown corners.
It'll be all right.
Yeah.
I think Buffalo would be awesome.
Oh,
Like, it's going to
yeah.
be a team like that. I'm telling you,
Yeah.
it's going to be a team like that.
If he was
Fine.
smart, it'd be a team like that.
Yeah. All right. The last one on the
This
Pro
is
Football Focus
By
most
far the
approved
worst
list.
one. By
Oh.
far.
I don't understand it. Antoine Winfield Jr. from the Bucks.
Ridiculous.
Mm.
He's not over. Like I know he got a contract, but he's not ridiculously paid because safeties
Yeah.
aren't ridiculously paid.
What is
Oh,
the
no, he reset the market for safeties when he signed the contract, to be fair.
He's good. Like he deserves every cent of what he's paid.
Absolutely.
I don't understand what. Like I guess he's got to prove he was a bit injured last year, but you can't just say to a guy because he was a little bit injured he's got something.
He
to
was the
prove.
best safety in football for 3 years, and then he played through calf and ankle injuries last year. So obviously his production's going to dip a little
Mm.
bit. So to say he's got something to prove when,
Again, 31 teams that have him tomorrow.
I don't know, over Nick Emery and Amenawari.
So
Sorry,
he's-
30 teams.
Yeah.
It'd only be Seattle.
Seattle's
Zero.
actually
He
really
hits the
set.
market. 2 dozen teams are calling.
Yeah,
immediately.
100%.
So his contract for this year is 9.1 million,
Jesus,
and the
team's
next
gonna-
2 years after that is 27.5
Okay, so it's getting.
Oh,
up there.
okay.
each
cool.
year.
that's a fair thing then. So he's got to prove that he's worth 27
worth
million
27,
next year.
that's fair.
No, 27 over the next two.
No.
No,
27.4, then
yeah.
27.5.
Yeah.
So it's a bit of a back-ended contract from the old Buccaneers.
Yeah.
That's a bit more context to it.
So yeah, 55 million. over the
I
next
still,
2
I
years.
I think like he probably restructures that at the end of this season. I think the Bucks would be mad to not have him on there. How old is he, Brocky? 27?
He is
Not
going
even.
to
I think he's
scroll
26.
up. He is 26 and 10 months.
Yep.
And 2
So
days.
it'll be 27 when the season starts.
Just
It's
entering his prime.
It's prime defensive
Yeah.
player. That's like 26
And
to
the thing is,
30 as
if
a
he's,
prime years.
if he's got a clean bill of health, he's going to be good anyway. So
Yeah.
whatever.
Yeah,
I
don't
thought
think
this
he's-
was very, very.
I
stiff.
also he will not count for 27 million on the cap the next 2 years.
no.
The cap is a myth. They
No.
will restructure and
Yeah.
they'll re-sign, extend, roll it out, and they'll spread it out.
Signing bonus for sure.
Yeah.
100%. They'll make it work. All right. Can I do the first one?
Yeah.
Because
Go.
I'm worried you guys are going to have it, and I want to have it first.
Go on.
My defensive player I want to start with the most approved this season is Micah Parsons.
Oh,
Damn.
I
That's
like
the
it.
only defensive player I had.
I fucking knew you
Damn
were going to do it. And I'll tell you why. Talk's cheap. It's time. I've said a million times there, and you've said it too, George, as a Eagles fan that hates the Cowboys. You've said that he is at his best close to the most unblockable player I've seen for a long time. And
There's two tackles in the NFL that can block, right tackles that can block him one-on-one. And it's Penasel and Lane Johnson.
no
That's it.
one else can handle him.
No one else. Not
And-
one-on-one.
But the talk and the off field and the bullshit going into a contract year, he needs to play 18 games, 17 maybe if he doesn't have to play the last game. Fingers crossed, probably unlikely.
Is that because you've already been eliminated?
No, because we've won the division, Scott. But,
That's really funny,
but
Scott.
theoretically, that's the plan, that he only would play 17 this year because the 18th game you don't even care. Like that's the
Yes.
that's the dream.
He's got a ball out.
He has to be like
Do you mean,
Defensive
do you mean
MVP.
16 games?
Yeah.
16,
I
sorry,
knew what he meant. I knew what he meant.
sorry, 18 weeks. My bad, Brock.
Yeah,
He's
Brock.
always tearing me.
No
down.
ball for once. God damn.
My bad. I've been accused of a lot of things. Not knowing ball's never one of them. That hit. I'm a bit hurt from that. Real cheap shot.
I'd love for him to just put the podcast equipment in a box and just play.
Am I wrong though? Does
No,
he? I think
I
he has a
100%
lot
agree.
to prove this season.
I just want him to add more to his game.
I
I don't want it to be one of those one-trick ponies. And I know that they can use. I just don't want to see the speed rush being his only thing. I want to see a more complete player. If you're going to be getting paid the most for any defensive player, which is most likely the contract he's going to beat, Miles Garrett.
He's going to reset the market.
Yeah. So
From
Miles-
Cowboys or someone else, he will reset the market.
Miles Garrett is an absolute terror on the edge pass rushing, but he's elite at the run. He's elite against double teams. Micah Parsons and I one
He's
trick
not
pony.
built to play on special team, to play double teams. He's
No,
he's not.
no,
built for
and
it.
I know that, but and saying he's a one trick pony is way too harsh. But when he's just relying on his speed, and
No, I thought you were going to say that. I agree with you.
yeah, I want to see more edge setting. I want to see some more against the run numbers. I'm not saying he's bad against it, but
No, he's
if
not.
you need to be paid the best defensive player, you need to do more than one thing at the elite level.
Yep.
And that was where I was more leaning towards. So
No, I just think he's going to want to reset the market next year, and he will. Because
Yes,
he's a
and-
very good player.
yeah, I just want more.
But there's also
from,
there's a world where he's a similar season to last year, where he's a bit dinged up. He plays well in moments. He has games where you're like, this guy is the best player I've ever seen, and games where you're like, where the hell is Micah Parsons?
Sure.
What is he doing? And then the crap of like his little fight with DeMarcus Lawrence, like your ex-teammate, shake hand. Like DeMarcus Lawrence wasn't the problem with the Cowboys.
no,
That's a ridiculous thing to say. He was
he was
one
hurt
of
for
yeah,
Yeah.
he had a great Cowboys career. I have no animosity towards DeMarcus Lawrence going to another team
Seattle
and getting
quietly.
a great signing. Like
Yeah.
I have no animosity to it. He was an absolute stalwart for the Dallas Cowboys
Yeah,
and played his
fantastic.
ass off. His best games were playoff games. Why are you getting into beef with him?
Hmm.
Like he won us games. He won us the playoff game against
Yeah,
Seattle.
yeah, that's right.
He won us that game with his pure play at the end of the
And
game on
he-
2 fourth down plays. He blew the game up.
And to my point with Parsons, like he came into the league as a speedy pass rusher, who then in the last 3 to 4 years is one of the best run defensive ends.
Yeah.
So he added more to his game and became unstoppable in basically you scheme against a guy.
Yeah,
And
think
that's where I
Parsons
want
can
Parsons.
become that, and that's why I think he's got to prove. He needs to show he can do that.
Do you have? Sorry, go.
I think the biggest key for him is I get your point about the speed rush, but that's clearly his one wood, and he's fucking excellent at it. So I've got no issue with him leaning into that and using that to its full extent. What I'd like to see more from him is not going missing so much during games,
Consistency.
consistently, like we said about Garrett, just consistently dominate a fucking game.
Yep, Jalen Carter's the same. He just doesn't stop. There's never a play where you're like, whoa, Jalen Carter sucked on that play.
Yeah,
Ever. Max Crosby. Ever. Quinton Williams.
that's
Rarely.
Like, he goes missing for series. He goes missing for
He goes
quarters.
missing, like I can tell you as someone who watches every Cowboys game, he goes missing for weeks.
Yeah,
And then we'll have a game against a division rival, like a Washington, and it's like, nah. And then he's on, and you're like, where was this when we
for
needed
the
it?
last month? Yeah.
Where was this when we had a must-win game against the Niners, who were rattled by injury, and we can keep our season alive, and we lose?
And you fucking phoned it in. Yeah.
Where was that?
Yep.
Injured.
So yeah, like leaning into the speed rush, cool. I've got no issue with that because that's his for his body type, that's the best avenue for him. Fine, no problem. I think if he wants to get paid the top dollars, that's what he's got to eliminate from his game.
Yep.
He's got to eliminate these. I'm going missing for a week, or I'm going missing for 2 quarters. Like you can't have that. You want to get paid the top dollars and be the top dog, you got to do it every fucking down.
Yep.
Do you
Very
think the
fair.
Cowboys have an issue with a 4 to 5 year contract and paying him at probably north of $47 million a year, with the potential of his body not holding up?
All his injuries have been like soft tissue. They haven't been like
Which-
impact injuries.
which isn't
are they
great, though.
soft? Hang on, are they soft tissue injuries because he's always trying to outmuscle guys that are bigger than him all the time?
Potentially, like,
And then that wears.
Mm.
So, like when the contract ends, he's going to be what, 29,
yeah, it would
30?
be. Yeah.
and he probably a dead.
How old is he now, Brock?
He's
25?
26.
26. So yeah, if he gets a 5-year deal, he'll be
Yeah.
31.
30.
Are you worried that the last 2 years that the toll of just being an undersized guy on the defensive line is sort of
Yeah,
No,
but by
like,
then he'll be out of guaranteed money anyway. So
like personally, no, I'm not worried. I don't think
Yeah.
that'll come into it. I think the Cowboys will pay him. I think they're setting
think
up. I think
they
they're
have to.
setting up this season.
Yeah.
You can't let a guy like, as much as I can't stand some of the stuff he does, it's very rare that teams let a guy like Micah Parsons leave the building.
his talent is undeniable.
Like you just not many guys like that get out of their team after their rookie contract.
no, absolutely not.
And the
Simple as that.
Cowboys are notorious for not letting good players leave. They always
don't.
hold on to them
They-
too,
they
which is a
don't.
good thing.
Sometimes too long. Like they held on to DeMarcus Ware a contract too long.
Yep.
But
Yeah.
he was so good that they were like, we're willing to risk hanging on to him. For too long.
Jerry's a bit like that though. I think he's happy to reward guys that have played.
I
well for a
agree.
long time.
And I think that's a good trait.
Yeah,
I don't
it's
think
good.
that's a bad
Yeah,
trait.
yeah.
I think sometimes it backfires on you, but I don't think it's a bad trait overall.
I'd rather take the crapshoot.
The
The little bit of
Cowboys,
loyalty is good. I
Yeah,
like
yeah,
it.
that's what I
The
mean,
Tampa
yeah.
Bay is very good at it, and I respect it.
yeah, and the Cowboys are very good at stars and rookies.
Mm.
That's their
That's very true.
theory.
Because they do
It's-
draft well too.
It's
yeah.
keep your stars, draft your composite players,
Yep.
and let the mid, like DeMarcus Lawrence leaving this year, it was letting a guy that at best is going to be a good, solid, borderline all pro player at his best.
No, I
Letting
think
him go
He's not
instead of
solid.
paying him a massive contract, they've
I-
just let him go and go.
I
Yeah,
think-
it's okay.
for what you needed him to be, which is probably 65 to 75% of the snaps all the time.
Yeah, he's not there.
He's not there anymore. But if you can go to a situation where he's hair on the fire for 45% of the snaps a
35,
game,
40, yeah, exactly.
and then you're like, oh, you get a different kind of guy.
Perfect.
Yeah. So I think that where the teams need to plays into that a little bit as well.
All right, who's got
I've got
another
a
defensive player?
coach,
Yes, cool.
Ooh,
Go.
coaches, let's go.
and we've touched on this a little bit, but I want to rip right into it right now. I've
Ooh.
got Jim Harbaugh.
Oh,
Jim Harbaugh, yeah. I think most approve. He got paid. Say what you want about the longevity, and that's really cool. And I don't want to gloss over it. It's actually very hard to do in the NFL.
Yep.
But
You mean John Harbour from the Ravens? That's what you
you mean
mean.
Jim
Yeah.
or John?
John.
John.
It's John.
You know
Sorry.
what? I'm not going to badmouth you because I always get him confused.
And
too.
they are identical twins. So
Yes.
I
Johnny
wrote
Harbaugh
Jim,
from-
but I
from the
mean
Ravens.
John.
Pretty sure they're
Um,
not twins.
They're not twins, yeah.
They're definitely not twins.
They're
There's-
not?
No, are they like 4 or 5? Anyway, they're
Not
fun.
only are they not identical twins, they're not twins at all, George.
I thought they were fucking twins.
Oh, they're brothers. You're
Break-
close.
Breaking news here.
They are related. They have the
Breaking
same
news.
last. Do you know they have the same mum? and dad.
They're not
Same-
twins.
So, same last name.
Oh
Yeah.
wow, I'm shocked by this.
Yeah, I think Jim Harbrow's younger.
Yes, Jim is definitely younger.
Yes.
Yes.
Anyway,
So we've, for how many years? 3 to 4 years, we've said the Ravens have had the best roster or one of the best rosters in the
Mhm.
NFL.
Yeah.
And to not get into the AFC Championship game, and I know they've got to go through Burrow, Allen, and
it's
Mahomes,
tough. It's tough.
and it's hard. But every other good team finds a way at some point in a 4-year span to get past it.
To break through. Yeah.
And then when defense is your calling card and all of that sort of stuff, you need to be able to slow down these offenses and get yourself into a position to win these games.
Mm.
And they haven't. And it's out coaching, or if it's the preparation, or if it's like the actual putting the guys in position. whatever it may be.
Yeah.
This is the year that if it doesn't happen, he has to be gone, because it's not going to happen.
It's either going to fall when things don't work out for a long period of time. When you're good, it falls on two people: quarterback and the head coach.
Well, that's what I was going to say.
and it's often the head coach.
If you're doing John, then by extension you have to put Lamar in there too.
because Lamar's too talented. Lamar's too
You
good a
can't-
football player to cop the fall.
You can't have a 2-time MVP as the
It's just-
issue in this
he's
situation.
He's just not the fall guy. He's
Before
not.
No, I'm
the
saying he's
coach.
going to get the fall.
Before
I'm not saying
the
he's gonna get
coach.
fall. Like he's not going to get cut. Like forget
No,
it. Like
no.
you're not cutting Lamar. That's
not
fucking
before
crazy.
the coach.
Yeah. Okay. Not before.
Not before the
I'm
coach.
telling you, someone pays the ultimate price, and it's like Eagles back in the day. It was Donovan McNabb. It's and Andy Reid a couple of years later, but
Yeah.
it's normally the coach that pays the price. And John Harbrow's
It
gonna
should
pay
be
it.
because he's had long enough. He's had long enough.
Yeah.
I also think, like, I fully believe, and I'm not just saying this because Brock will throw a rock at me. I fully believe that the Ravens are as good a chance to win a Super Bowl this year as anyone else in the NFL.
Well, talent, like
I complimented.
talent,
Better come-
talent-wise, they
controller.
are. Like
Yeah.
on paper,
But we've had
list-wise,
this. We've had
they
this.
are.
They're as good. But if they don't, I agree.
but I've
Harbrow's
seen-
on the
But
hot
I've
seat.
seen this movie for the last 4 or 5 years.
Yeah.
That's all I'm saying.
We'll see how it plays out.
How long can one bloke hold on to a bloody championship run from 10 years ago?
Well, ask Mike Tomlin.
Yeah. Well, he deserves to be in the seat as well.
He does.
Yeah.
I agree.
All
But
right,
he won't be. Different organization.
Georgie, you got a defensive guy on your list?
I was just gonna say maybe Thibodeau. He had a bit of a down year last year at
I think Thibodeau's gone.
I don't think Thibodeau's good enough to be on the list.
Yeah.
Like them taking Jalen Carter and having Burns,
Burns.
I actually would be
Burns
more.
had a down year as well.
I might be more surprised
Burns
if,
was really good
if
last year.
Thibodeau's on the Giants by the start of the season
Mm.
than if he's not. Like
I
I think
think-
he's prime.
I
trade
think the
candidate.
train's left the station on that one.
and he's a twat.
Mm.
Personality wise, he's just a bit of a dick.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And people will put up with it.
Carter's a
if
bit of a
he's-
dick too, but he's just good. That's
But
the problem.
but like Carter's a different sort of dick. Carter's like I'm an asshole. I'm here to play football dick.
Yeah, that's right.
Thibodeau's like I'm the man without doing anything to be the man.
Yeah. Yeah.
Like that's his problem. And
see some videos of the OTAs of Carter. Fuck, he looks
oh,
good.
mate,
He's
he
so good.
flies around. Yeah, I think Carter will be very good. But Thibodeau, I don't think he's good enough to be.
Yeah, I was just sort of like
Anything to
I was
prove.
just sort of going.
To be
through some
fair, we
names
had
in my head.
Ramonde Stevenson on the list, so
Well, we
Thibodeau's
didn't.
almost on the list.
We did. Pro Football Focus
Yeah,
did. Like, if we-
Wild.
I've got another coach that I want to talk about.
Ooh.
Robert Saleh, DC of the
Okay.
49ers.
Yep.
So obviously when he was at the 49ers last, awesome DC.
Yes.
Got a head coaching gig. Defense was good. It happened what happened. He got fired. Coaches are hired to be fired. We all know this story. I'm not going to belittle him for being fired. But now going back to the 49ers, where people just go, well, he's back where he landed. They've bought Huff, who was great at the Jets. They've got Warner. They've got these guys. It's just going to come in and they're going to be a top defense again because he's the coach.
Mm.
That's pressure. And that's something to prove. If their defense sucks next year, it's gonna fall on him that like, oh, maybe he's not that good at DC because he couldn't just come back and get it done. There's a perception of pressure on him to be successful again because it's the Jets suck. They're a crap organization. He was great before the Jets. He did a great job with their defense at
Yes,
the Jets,
he did.
and now he's the DC. The defense fell apart when they fired him. It was a bad move, and now he's the DC again at the Niners. He should just be good again. That's pressure, and that's something to prove.
I think he's got a bit of a longer rope than to be on this list.
I just think if all the defensive coordinators have something to prove, he's on that list purely because of, and again, maybe not all his fault, but because of what happened at the Jets and the fact that he's gone back to the team that he was hired as a head coach from.
Yeah.
It just mounts that pressure.
And
It
that
should just be
team's-
good again.
The pressure
We-
of expectation. I know what you're saying.
Expectation. Yeah.
that team in general is probably just deserves to be on this list as
Yeah, as an organization.
probably the last year of their window.
This is like John Farnham. This is,
Nah,
this
nah,
is, this is the last song.
Their window shut.
No,
going through the
I
motions,
disagree. I can see a world where the 49ers, like I said, Robert Saleh gets that defense humming again. He is the guy we think he is. The defense is great. Warner's great. Bosa's great. Huff's
Easy
great coming
schedule.
back. Easy schedule.
Highest rest. Everything's in the favor.
Sam C plays 6 to 17 games and is a Offensive Player of the Year candidate. Ayuk gets it going again. Purdy's competent. Trent Williams plays most of the games and he's good again. I'm telling you, there's a world where they're good again.
A lot of ifs and buts in there.
There's but like at this point, a lot of NFL teams are built on if buts and maybes.
Yeah, okay. Well,
Unless you're an Eagles who, you know what I mean, won a Super Bowl and rightfully don't get those if buts and maybes because they don't deserve it right now.
yeah.
There's probably
And the
4
Chiefs,
teams.
all the Chiefs, just because of how the Super Bowl turned out. If the Chiefs had lost that game by 3 points in a close shootout or whatever it was, and been like, oh, they just got pipped by the Eagles on the day. There's no question marks about them this year. It's
Correct.
only what happened to them
it's
in that
the,
Super
it's
Bowl
the arse
creates
whooping
it.
that creates the question.
100%. It's the Adelaide Crows from a few years
As
ago.
it-
You
as it
can't
should.
cost. Sometimes you don't cop an ass whooping.
I'm
like
telling
that
you,
and come
they're,
back.
they're set for a big down year this year.
I disagree.
Mentally.
Yeah.
I disagree. Have you got any other defensive guys, Scotty?
No, I just had Parsons, and then I had the coach.
I have one more.
Lay it on us,
Shoot.
bro.
Milton Williams for the
Oh,
New
yeah,
England
yeah,
Patriots.
okay, yeah.
And we can be quick on this. You don't sign a $100 million contract to leave a team after having one good year and have zero pressure. You have been paid the most money a defensive tackle can be paid.
Yep.
Now's the time to
You're
show.
paid to be the fucking man.
Yeah.
You need to show you're not a 1 year wonder. You need to show
And-
you're the man.
You need to also prove to your point that you're not a role player on a good team that everyone else made you look good, that you can
Mhm.
leave your good team and still be a stud. Because his numbers are pretty good.
Yes.
But also when the best blocker is looking at
Jalen Carter.
Jalen Carter and
Or
then
Nolan
Nakobe,
Smith, to his
yeah,
credit.
and Nakobe Dean and
Zach
all these.
Bourne flying around
Yeah.
creating,
Yeah.
creating
Five
issues.
Yeah.
Like,
Blitzing, yeah.
It's very easy to come in as not an average player, but you know what I mean, a rotation player and look good.
And
It's
Patriots
very
have
easy.
some good players. Like Christian Barmore was a really good defensive tackle.
Yes.
But I think Christian Barmore needs a Jalen Carter, and I think they're thinking Milton Williams is going to be out. Like that's probably an unfair comparison, but to that extent,
Be
he's
there,
going to
Jalen
be
Carter,
our
yeah.
dude, and then Barmore's going to get better because we have.
Or they
that
can
dude.
feed off each other a little bit more.
100%.
Yeah.
And I personally think the Patriots overpaid because they had cap, and that's what people do when you've got cap.
Oh, yes.
And I think he's got a lot to prove this year.
Yeah. That's it is a unfair but fair to be on the list.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Absolutely. All right, that's it for this week. Shout out to Brocky on the ones and twos. doing
Sharp tonight.
God, he was outstanding tonight, as always.
Razor
As
sharp.
always. Shout out to the
I'm on
human
TikTok.
billboard.
I know what you're calling about. Sharp.
Look, we're just trying to pump you
We're
up
trying to
so
pump
you
you up
get
for once in your life.
yeah,
bro.
so we can
That
get some
fucking
sort of
time.
production
Take
out
a
of you.
compliment, bitch.
I know, right?
So
Also,
that's where
actually,
there's-
before we bounce,
Yeah,
I just want to run through just real quick Super Bowl odds. Ravens 750, Bills 750, Eagles 750, Chiefs $8, Detroit Lions $10. Get
That's-
your bets in early,
Get
boys.
your bets, boys. That's Brocky's Corner brought to you by Cully Clothing, the Super Bowl bets for the year. Thanks,
So, you
thanks,
loading
Sandra
up, you
Sully.
loading up on the Ravens, Brock? You confident?
The camera's gone. Don't even worry about changing it over. Guys, peace out. We'll see everyone next week.
Ciao.
Peace out, everyone.
Peace out.
Thank you.
I hope the Eagles lose on a call.